Okay, so how to write theories? You have to use theories runner. You provide test data using data point and data points annotation. You annotate test method with theory annotation instead of test annotation. You specify wanted parameters in method signature. And if needed, you can use JUnit assumption to specify for which parameter the theory is about. So this is the example of theory. So as I said, you use theories to run the test with. You specify data points. You can use data points annotation to specify set of data and data point to specify single data point. Then you annotate your test with theory annotation. And the good thing is that you can also put in this class normal standard JUnit test. You specify in the method signature what arguments you need. Sorry. And using assumptions, you are specifying where, when, for what arguments the test should be ignored. So, for example, I mean, don't you find it quite good to read? Like, for example, reading this test, I just see that assuming that I have two positive numbers, the sum of it will be greater than 0. Or can you see that? So assuming that assuming that I got two numbers and the second is 0, I should expect arithmetic exception when I divide them. Yeah? Yeah, so we're coming to an end. Just a quick sum up. Why to use parameterized tests, assertions, and theories. Make your test forum to gain confidence. Easily add new test cases to save time. Be expressive to make your code self-documented. Remove code duplication to make tests easier to maintain. Allow automatic tools to work for your benefit and quickly understand why test fails and fix it. So I think we are run out of time, as we discussed. That should take only half of an hour. So thank you for attention. Any questions?
Could you go back to the latest, the recent slide with theories?
Okay.
With the relator. Okay. What? No. Next. Okay. So. Should sum of positive numbers be positive? That will fail in some cases too.
It will fail again in case of overflow.
Yeah. Exactly.
In case of what?
Overflow. If you add two.
That's true. That's true.
That's the point.
I have a question. Is there any other benefit of matchers except of readability? Or is the main and the other one true?
So readability is the one thing. Descriptive failure message is the second one. For me, I found it really good to have those custom matchers, which I can, put in some test library and use it reuse it when I have to.
Okay, I see. And the second question is about assumptions. Is there any other place where it's reasonable to use them apart except of theories? Because it seems natural in these theories, but
Yeah.
in ordinary unit test, I would.
So I saw usage also in parameterized tests.
So
you
you
want
know
to-
test for some parameters.
Yes,
right?
for some parameters. And I saw also something like putting some issue to be fixed in the future. So, so you conditionally ignores something, for example, to future release. Okay, so you specify that. I'm not using.
Assumptions are very useful when you have integration test or system test. For example, your system tests require external database to be up. If its database is down, your whole suite of tests will have 3,000 error or fake tests. They are not fake, they should be skipped. So in this case, your assumptions assume that external database is up.
Okay.
What is the purpose of using data points in this example?
Using what?
Data point and data points. Are they used?
Just to show that. Okay,
We'll take random data or
yeah. So the engine of the theory is runner. It don't care about that something was specified as data points or data point. It just know that it got 7 integers, and then, for example, it sees method signature with 1 integer as a parameter. So it passes all data points which are integers to this method. If it, for example, see 2 integers, it will make like every possible combination, like Cartesian product.
would be better to have some runner. I am not sure if such runner exists, which, for example, see if your method has a parameter integer, we should check for some situations like 1 positive, 1 negative, 1 which can cause some overflow.
So
you
one,
don't
zero,
so this
sort of rules.
So
Because
this
usually like
theory
this-
explorator work like that. Like it has some dynamic ways of predicting some test inputs, but also static ways, and it works like that. It, for example, found some constants in your classes and used it as an input because it could be tricky. Yeah, it had to check positive numbers, 0.
That does it work only with simple types?
No, objects. Objects.
How do you initialize your objects?
You probably need to have
Is it
some
I don't know,
factory which will create.
what do you need to do? You need to write something that will create your objects, or how?
And there is thing like constructor, for example.
Yeah, but for example, if object is kind of
Yeah. Okay. Big.
really.
Big. So there are ways. Also, when you're writing a normal test, you have to somehow initialize your object, not even using theories. So you can end up with making, a lot of boilerplate, creating some complex object, and you can provide, for example, mother object pattern for your classes, or builders that, for example, build some. It's always that you have to put some additional effort. Like, I know you just don't want to see so many lines here, or what's?
I'm just curious how it works with custom data types. I create my own logic, complex. My logic that can reflect some different states. How can I trust that theory meta tag that it will run with all possible cases when I provide, instead of int, for example, my type,
But you see that
My type has
I al-
10
You
properties.
need to use data points for that, I guess.
So if I'm
So-
using data points, I'm
You will
providing
manually
data
create-
myself. So
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
And plus it will takes null. That's
I don't see the point.
I think the question is how this theory generator, right?
Mhm.
Predicts the
Yeah.
data. How can
So I-
how it constructs the object, right?
so
That's the question.
as I said, I haven't ever used this theory explorator. So think.
And of course, one more question, because speed is also quite important thing in terms of unit test. If you really need to test, I don't know, vast
Mhm.
set of data, how long does it take? And
So
probably it will impact also continuous integration too.
yes.
Mm,
Having such tests, you can believe me, it will run quickly, yeah, because you are providing just a set of data. You can have you can run your whole project using some automated stuff to generate input data, for example at night, and companies are doing things like that. That you are delivering something during the day in the normal manner, and then your continuous integration server runs some very thorough
like additional
suits,
scenarios.
at night.
why usually. So, just for the background, I rarely use unit tests. Yeah, that's true. They do that because it consumes a lot of time for writing and for supporting. Plus, if we have, it's a question for me. No, it doesn't mean that I don't test the code at all. But I just want to hear. You told that you cover your code perfectly. How many time do you spend for that? Are you a developer or you are a test automator?
No,
or-
I'm a developer.
How many? Is it a new project or you have a lot of legacy stuff as we have?
Both.
Okay, for in case of legacy, how do you usually cover? In some cases, yeah, of course, I use like Makito or whatever just to, but sometimes it's hard to build all those mocks to write the test, and it's hard to define all cases, and usually after some changes, it will be a lot of work to reduce. How many time do you spend on in the test? Just for interesting. Maybe some of some of technologies are new for me. For example, the Hampress. Maybe they allow you to keep the tests in a better way. Like
So I don't know how much time I spent. I just spent so much time to be sure that the change will not break anything.
what
This
about
is the
what about
answer.
integrations and other situations?
And deadlines.
Because usually in examples of unit test, that's a simple method. Yeah, it's easy to write it properly. When you told the situation with that, what is like int plus int will be greater. Overflow, that's a normal case. Just to think about that. But when it's again the situation when you have databases or whatever, it's just hard to write and.
But you mean you have connection to the database in unit tests?
Not about actual database. I just want to say that in real life, it usually takes more time just to write test and support that than develop. And that's a
Put
case.
it in your estimation. If you
Yeah.
write a unit test during your working cycle on a daily basis, you will save your time later after you will have
Yeah.
a
Could be.
list of bugs which you need to investigate, which you need to understand, which you need to spend so much time
Yeah.
that you can save it writing the unit test. Because it's your algorithm and you respond for it. You respond for
You will
results
save
of it.
you will save your time debugging afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, but the case when we just take some legacy project
Yeah, but you know.
We just cannot write so many unit tests, and it's just sometimes hard to understand what is the logic behind. And if the method is 200 lines, and you just
That's why so
Change the job.
creating documentation
Oh,
for
process.
low-level documentation for the user development, because unit tests are for developers.
that's a good idea.
And you need to investigate the code in any way. Either you fix it, either you write a unit test for it, whatever. It's just to save your time in the future. It will say to you that you are good. You are correct in your suggestion to write a code.
I just want to say that in real life, usually either the project is new, it means that you will have a lot of modification of the unit test. If you're doing some change in your code, it will cause a lot of modification in the unit test. As a result, you will have your time multiplied 2 or 3 for everything.
So I
And
think
if you have, from another side, you have legacy stuff. Just to write initial unit tests, you will have again huge amount of time you need for that.
Usually you make an estimate of how long it will take to write a feature or whatever. And if you can include some time for this because you are the developer, right?
Yeah, sure. That's
Even for legacy system, you don't have to unit test everything, just your client.
But you have to keep in mind that you write unit tests not only for testing the functionality, but also to test further when if somebody broke your code. And in this moment, this particular moment, it all is worth it, because you will immediately know what happened, because your test is broken and somebody introduced a new changes which broke it. So this is when it all comes together.
yeah, just everything sounds really theoretical because in practice it's usually yeah,
Not
that's
really.
clear. Put in an estimation. That's clear what to test. That's clear how to write. But usually that's in the practice that's how.
Imagine,
another experience.
Yeah, we have another experience.
imagine thousands of classes, somebody new writes something new, which is connected with your code, and suddenly your code doesn't work. If you have tests, you will immediately know that he broke it, and he should fix it also. And if you didn't have test, you are in the woods.
Yeah, that's of course. I just wanted to say that it's sometimes hard to write tests, and you don't need to cover 100 lines or think like,
But
I need to cover
But
everything.
we are developers, right?
Yeah.
We don't not get job because it's easy, right? Of course it's hard, but you're the man to do it.
So no more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shimon. And if any one of you is interested in presenting something in the next month, for the next session, just send me an email. I will choose the best one. Thank you guys for joining.